The Jews as a people, they had rejected him. But we feel that he was the Messiah that was promised to the Jews.
But if Muslims have Muhammad and the Christians have Jesus, and the Jews don't have anybody yet, is that right?
No, they have Moses and the prophets.
Well, but I mean, they don't have a latter day. Theirs go way, way back.
You see, because we feel that they missed the bus with regards to Jesus. But Jesus was the Messiah. But now the Jews have given up all hope of the Messiah. They don't talk about the Messiah anymore. See?
I bet they don't in their hearts. I bet they don't.
Yes. Because they said, no, look, we now need, they will take matters into our own hands. They wanted the Messiah to come and do a job for them. And practical philosophy they applied. Theodore Hertz said, no, we will get what the Messiah is supposed to do. And they did it. 1948, they established the state of Israel. They took the hands out of the Messiah's hand and they established the state of Israel.
For the first and only time that I was in Israel, I was in a dining room by myself, and I didn't know anything about the holy days. I didn't know anything about the customs. And I was finishing my supper, and I heard kind of a singing. And when I looked over and I saw some men softly singing, I honestly thought they were drunk. And I was sort of embarrassed. And then as this sound went around the room, this beautiful, beautiful sound came in these deep voices. Then I realized that they all had little books and that they were singing and giving thanks at the end of a meal. And the tears came to my eyes. It was so beautiful. And I felt the Spirit so strongly. I can't describe to you how strongly I felt that. And I truly felt that I was linked. I didn't know what they were singing. I didn't know anything about it, but I knew that the presence of the Spirit was there. And that's what I call the Spirit that I felt when I first saw you. That same Spirit, because you have a radiant face, No, you do. And you don't have all those worry lines and those lines of anguish that people that don't know God.
Yes,
and so I feel that in you, I felt it in them, and I hope it is observed in a tiny bit in myself, and that's to me what's that unity. Is that the Christ? Is that Spirit? Did Muhammad have a word for it? What is that?
I think it is to be in tune with God. See, if we are trying to fulfill the plan of God, His word, automatically I feel that this Spirit permeates in the person. Though you might carry what I would say wrong labels. We can have wrong labels put onto ourselves because we think maybe if I put this label is the right one or that one, but I think it's not the label. It is the Spirit, haqq, truth. The Quran says, Al-haqqu min rabbikum wa la takun min al-mumtareen. It says truth comes from God alone. So be not of those who doubt. There is only one truth, and that truth is from God. Whatever God says is truth. Once you are in tune with that, you vibrate on His wavelength. You don't become gods, but you are on His same vibration as His vibration.
Now, Mr. Deedat, how can you explain, sir, with your deep knowledge of all of the religious literature, how can you explain that people from your religion, people from Christianity, people from Israel, people from every other religion, and especially those with no religion at all who deny God, that we're all out there cheerfully slaughtering each other every single day from morning until night, and sometimes they stay up all night to get the job done?
True, ma'am.
Where is God and Mohammed and everybody?
It is programming, ma'am. You see, we all can get programmed into any types of attitudes. I mean, we take Germany, Hitler at Germany. Is Germany one of the most cultured nations in Europe? Is it possible that they could have incinerated 6 million Jews under Hitler? Obvious answer is no. How can a nation so cultured do a thing like that? But programming, we all can get brainwashed. And I say, whether Muslim, Hindu, or whatever titles you give to yourself, we all can be programmed into right and wrong. But to look at the problem objectively is very difficult. To get rid of our prejudice, as Roger Bacon, he said, it is easier for a man to burn down his own house than to get rid of his prejudices. It's very true. Whether Muslim, Christian, Jew, it applies to all. But now if we can become big enough to say, now let us see what have you got. What is truth and where is truth? Let us have some objective standards of judging truth. Not what I want to believe or what you want to believe. Let us see. And if there is a document, and we believe that there is a document, which we say the Holy Quran, when you open this book, and if you didn't know that you were reading the Quran, if you came across pieces of these writings, say in English, like the birth of Jesus, for example, from the Quran, and I have shown this to Christians, Orthodox Christians, born-again Christians, I say, just have a look at this, the birth of Jesus, in the Quran. It says, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمُ. It says, behold, the angel said, O Mary, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اسْتَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاسْتَفَاكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ, that God Almighty has chosen thee and purified thee, chosen thee above the women of all nations. Now, so when you read words like this in English without seeing the Arabic text, in that portion, I said, if I read further to you, and if I read it all to you, if you read this on a piece of paper lying around, in 100 years, in 1,000 years, you'll never guess you're reading the Quran.
No, I wouldn't.
The Christian. I said, you would think that maybe this is the Roman Catholic version of the Bible, if you haven't seen one. Maybe this is the Greek Orthodox version of the Bible, which you might not have seen one. Maybe this is the New World Translation of the Bible by the Jehovah's Witnesses, if you haven't seen one, and on and on. But you'll never guess you're reading the Quran. Why? Because it's so close to your heart. See, what is being said is so close, that Jesus is the Messiah. He was born miraculously. He gave life to the dead by God's permission. He healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. Now, it's so close to your heart that it is like your own book. And that is with regards to any message. Anyway you read, it's as if there is somebody talking to you. I said, that somebody is God. Objectively, you can read, and as if this message is being spoken to your heart direct. See? But now what happens before you touch the book? A prejudice has already been created in your heart and mind. This is something that might burn your spirit or destroy you.
No, I think the Western mind says that's Khomeini, and that's un point
that
c'est tout.
That is today. But even before Khomeini, you see, I have sometimes Orthodox Christians coming along. There was one young man who was a Roman Catholic. He came for some other purposes. Then chatting, I took a liking to the man. I said, look, I'd like to present you with this Quran. And as if I was offering him some fire, to hold on to fire. He said, no, he can't have that. I said, look, read it, man, and see. And it took me a long time to persuade him to take the book. I said, read it, see what it has to say. And after reading it, he was a changed man. He said he didn't expect, what he is seeing it in there. Another elderly gentleman, we presented him with the Quran, this holy book. And after some time I phoned him up. I said, now, how's your progress? He said, no, I haven't read it yet. Again, another time, he said, I haven't had time to go to it yet. 3 or 4 times I phoned the man. Then he says, look, man, I have been reading it all along. But, I can't help agreeing with the book. And I'm too old to change now. So therefore, this is the problem. I'm too old to change.